Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day, whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. I'm glad you're here. I want to real quickly say thank you to the channel members, and say thank you to anybody who's just stopped in to check out my knife, my EDC content. I really appreciate you taking the time. If you're so inclined, if you hit that subscribe button, that bell notification icon next to it, it really helps me out, and it'll keep you updated when I upload new content. So what I have today is a really cool little custom knife. I'm not going to call it a J-Cal because it's different, from Jason Grant. Brass Brigades. Got these really cool composite beads now. Got his patch on the sheath. It didn't come with this little belt loop on it. This is just the way I found it carries the best for me. But if you'll check this out, you've got this jimping in this, what I'm going to call, instead of the Jason Grant Custom, I call it kind of the Carnivorous Cricket, because that's kind of what it reminds me of. But the way that this sheath, this Kydex sheath, locks into this little knife is impressive, to say the least, and it's very easy to deploy. But this little guy is different in a couple of different ways. Most notably, the way that the underside of the grip of this little handle is set up. And for me, it is 100% perfect. It's a thick little piece of S90V. I'm trying to just give you some decent looks at things that I think are just really impressive. The beveling around the hand jimps and around the entire tang. You've got this really nice bevel. You've got this deep, deep hollow grind on this S90V blade. You've got this G10 handles that are set on with Torx. I think those are T20s. Yeah, they are actually T20s. So you got your G10 handles. You've got this little snappy blade. When you look at this knife, it is, to me, the hollow grind is done exceptionally well on such a little thick knife. The plunge are lined up perfectly. I love the grip. The reason I don't call it a J-Cal is when I think of a J-Cal, I think of that single grip, right? So this is something different. I don't know what that is yet. It's just, it's exceptional. We'll look at it size-wise next to some other things here in a second. But the grinding, the edge is super sharp. It came slicing sharp. I actually TS profed it up to about 19.5, and it is just a little detail cutting laser beam. I mean, the tip, which is one of the things that I love, the way these tips swoop out just a little bit, just enough. But I mean, this little guy, for as thick as it is, it's just a wonderful little piece of functional art, in my opinion. I love it. It's slicey, and I'm sorry, I've kind of gone into therapeutic slicey mode without cutting myself, because I'm looking through the back of an iPhone when I do this. I was just going to see if I could get it to drop with the tip. But very slicey. Very comfortable in hand. A lot of different grips. You think about cutting out labels or doing any type of, detail cut, cutting out stickers, cutting out anything that requires you to put it this pinch grip. It feels fantastic. Weighs very little, and I'll weigh it here for you in a second, but it is a chunk of S90V, so it's not going to be super light, nor I think it should be super light, because I think it's a hardy little tool that I let ride appendix right to the right of my belt buckle, and it carries like a dream. It's fantastic. I might throw another strap on it. I don't think I need to. When I keep it cantered, it seems to keep that canter, but I might throw one more strap on it, give it a little bit more, I guess, what would you call it, horizontal stability, so we should say. I wanted to compare this for you guys for a couple of knives. We'll start real quickly size-wise with the S90V Baby Banter, which I think most people can familiarize themselves with the size of the Baby Banter. It's a little knife, right? What I'm going to call the Carnivorous Cricket is much smaller than the Baby Banter. However, as you saw, the way that it's designed, my hand grips it with 4 fingers comfortably. For people that have really big hands, it would be a fantastic 3-finger knife. But again, it's super, super comfortable. So let's look at it next to, I showed you a second ago, one of my little J-Cows, which is a little 5-incher. So this little guy is smaller than this little guy. Look at it next to a Bradford Guardian 3. Much smaller than the Bradford Guardian 3. Let's look at it next to a Marlboro Handcraft Little Prick. It's going to be smaller than the Little Prick. Let's look at it next to, as people that are familiar with the channel will laugh at me now because they know this is one of my favorite little knives, the Jacob Creates Chickadee. It's going to be a good bit smaller than that. And lastly, we're going to look at the Big Idea Design Company Lookout, which I think is quickly becoming one of my favorite little fixed blades. And there's going to be a drop of these this fall, about 425, 450 that are going to be USA made, right there in Chattanooga, about 45, 50 miles north of me. But this little guy is considerably smaller than the Lookout, and it just makes for a great little package. For a package opener, for a cardboard slasher, if you need to cut into some cardboard. I used it tonight to cut out a plate for Tippy. My mom had sent some nasty wet food home with me, so I had to do a little quick modification. So it's coming in right under 4 1/4 inches, right? So I'm gonna call it 4 1/4. 4 1/4 inches. If we look at the blade, I'm gonna measure it from that plunge, and I'm gonna call it 1.5 inches. I'm gonna call the cutting edge 1 1/4 inches. I'm gonna call the inside grip, which I'm gonna call it from this front choil here to that back, and we're going to be looking at 2 3/4 comfortably. So 2 3/4 from here to back here. Get that one more time. Yep, 2 3/4, and then the second choil here, you're going to have 2 inches exactly from here to here, right? So you've got it's just laid out very well. Is just what was trying to demonstrate there. So let's look at a little bit of impressiveness on the girth of this little, what I'm going to call the Carnivorous Cricket for now. It is almost 0.20, 0.1925 of S90V, 0.1930 we'll call it. So it's going to be a thick boy, a little bit over 1/2 inch, 0.59. So it fits the hand very heartily. When I was saying earlier I wouldn't want it light because it feels like a stable tool, because it does, because it's just a little chunk, a little chode, right? A little chunk. So I'm going to try to get it behind the edge here. You guys know I'm not very talented when it comes to doing this. We'll call it 0.185 or 0.0, what was that, 0.0185? Let's see what it comes to here. 0.0220, something like that, right? So very slicey. We saw it slice through some stuff, and it is definitely, let me get a little bit of cardboard. We should at least do that. Let me cut this piece off with the Carnivorous Cricket, and then we'll do a little, get this out of the way. So detail cuts, money, just a little slicer, guys. So if you're needing to get in, just lays that open. Just a little beast. I think the Carnivorous Cricket's a mad win, and that's not what it's called. It's just a little custom knife that Jason had worked up, and I thought it was awesome. I couldn't resist. Deep hollow grind, done very well. I love his work because it is very hand done, not machine done. Not that there's anything wrong with machine done, but this is just, to me, very artistic. And the way that I think it's kind of evolved, it's been really fun to watch. And I'm stoked. And this little custom guy is awesome. I promise he will be on a Friday Night Flicks before long and have some of this little stuff that he's working on, along with some matching prize and stuff like that. But until then, guys, thank you for taking the time to watch. If you're still here, feel free to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon. But please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart and choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.